Coming up next on Good Morning El Paso, students at Eastwood Middle School continue to mourn the loss of one of their own. How they plan to honor Emily Rose after she was shot and killed by her father.
Also, 2 different crashes on El Paso roads leave 2 people dead. We have the latest. Plus,
it's like what you see on TV. Never thought I would see it in real life.
The cleanup begins this morning in Tornado Alley after dozens of tornadoes are reported. We have your Storm Track weather coverage.
Where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso.
you're looking at just some of the damage left behind by several tornadoes in Oklahoma. Nearly 50 reported tornadoes touched down in 4 states yesterday.
One tornado even hit a tiger safari in Oklahoma, leaving animals on the loose for hours. Oklahoma's governor is signing a disaster declaration. We'll have more on your Storm Track weather coverage in just a bit. But first, a good morning to you all. I'm Stephanie Valle.
And I'm Floren. Good morning, everyone. Back here in the borderland, nothing but blue skies so far anyway this morning, right?
Yeah, can't complain, Crystal.
Yeah, we are lucking out. The forecast so rough for those folks in the Midwest and the central parts of the U.S. that we've seen those tornadic activity, wind, hail. For us, we're just talking clear blue skies out there. And that continues through the rest of today. Our temperatures were at 67 in El Paso right now. Our wind speed sits at 8 miles per hour out of the west-northwest. And your relative humidity just 27%. There's no forecast of rain in today's forecast. In fact, the storm system that's bringing such rough weather to some parts of the country is what brought us some windy and in some areas rainy weather on Monday into Tuesday. Much more strength, obviously, the farther it moved along to the east. In Las Cruces, we're 51 this morning. Winds are at 7 miles per hour. Those winds certainly doable. Later today, still doable, but picking up a little strength. We are talking those wind gusts just like yesterday, moving into that 30-35 mile per hour range. We'll discuss that in more detail and look when those winds start to drop off. That's coming up in just a bit.
All right, Crystal, thank you. Classmates of Emily Rose Nevadis will continue to honor her memory by celebrating her life with a memorial. At just 14 years old, El Paso police say the honor student was shot by her father, Ramon Nevadis, who then turned the gun on himself. Emily later died at the hospital. This all happened Tuesday morning at the family's home in East El Paso on Spencer Street. Police are calling it a murder-suicide, but they still don't know the motive behind it. ABC7 stopped by Eastwood Middle School, where Emily Rose was an 8th grader. Students have decorated a wall in her memory, which included some of Emily's artwork. Principal Melinda Villalobos tells us the wall will stay decorated the rest of the year in her memory.
In addition to that, we are having some students right now, by their own request, actually develop a tabletop, if you will, for the desk that Emily sat in her classrooms. And that piece of artwork we will preserve and keep until her graduating class graduates, and that will be part of that ceremony.
ABC7 spoke with a crisis expert who told us these kinds of memorials do help those grieving navigate their emotions. He says it's important for students who knew Emily to talk about their confusion or grief among each other. He says parents should also be ready to listen to those students who knew Emily and to admit that they don't have all the answers when discussing a senseless crime. He says what is key now is support.
This is a tragic situation that no school can prepare for, no matter what kind of plans you have. But this is nothing that is easily categorized and say, oh, well, we've got this protocol to handle this kind of situation. So the key element here is being supportive and allowing the students to have time to find that support, especially among themselves.
The ABC7i team confirmed Emily's father, Ramon Nevadis, worked at Sierra Medical Center, and a co-worker there says he was a surgical technician. There are no public records of domestic violence, arrest, divorce, or custody dispute. And we also learned through 2 different sources that Emily's mother works at Del Sol Medical Center, though the hospital will not confirm that. Emily's aunt wrote to ABC7 saying the family is not ready to talk. But, quote, Emily was a beautiful young woman who enjoyed life. She was very loving and caring and will be greatly missed by all her family and friends.
If you'd like to help Emily's family pay for her services, information on funeral donations is at KVIA.com right now. We've also posted it on our KVIA.com Facebook page. Switching gears now, the roads turned deadly for two people in two different crashes. The first happened around 1:30 yesterday morning on the 9700 block of Dyer in northeast El Paso. Police say the driver, 33-year-old David Pinedo, was speeding when he struck the median and lost control of his SUV, causing it to roll. Pinedo was taken to the hospital where he later died. His passenger, a 29-year-old woman, suffered minor injuries. Investigators say Pinedo may have been drinking. And the second crash happened an hour and a half later on Loop 375 near Joe Battle. Police say two women were riding in a Jeep and the driver was going the wrong way. She then lost control and rolled the vehicle several times. Both women were not wearing seatbelts and were thrown from the Jeep. One of the women died at the scene. Neither of them have been identified at this point. Police believe the driver may have also been drunk at the time of the crash.
Well, another deadly wreck, this one in New Mexico. It happened Tuesday on US 180 just north of Deming in Luna County. Authorities say a 19-year-old woman was driving her truck when she crossed into oncoming traffic and struck a Jeep head-on. The driver of that Jeep, 72-year-old William May from Deming, was killed. His two passengers, both teenage boys, were flown to University Medical Center in El Paso, where they're listed in critical condition. The FBI El Paso division is creating stronger relationships with the community. To do that, it hosts its annual Citizens Academy. Our very own Denise Olivas completed the course. It's a story you'll see only on ABC 7. Denise, how was it?
Good morning, Hillary. Well, it doesn't get me any closer to becoming an FBI agent, but the Academy gave me and the group I was a part of a better understanding and a behind-the-scenes look at how the agency works. The Academy wrapped up recently with a visit to McGregor Range, where we were allowed to shoot some of the firearms used by agents. But for the past 6 weeks, we also learned about every department of the FBI. White-collar crimes, corruption, cross-border violence, cyber crimes, just to name a few. FBI officials say they want to create stronger ties to the community because many times it's the public's information that can launch an investigation. Jim Paul, executive director of Hospice of El Paso and the former owner of the El Paso Diablos, was a member of the Academy, and he says he now has a new perspective on what the FBI does for the community.
And it's given me a new respect and certainly a sympathy to and a better understanding of what they do and how they do it. And in some cases, when it comes down to criminal, how much time do they have to make a split-second decision?
Coming up, the special agent in charge of the FBI El Paso division talks more about the importance of the Citizens Academy. Stephanie and Hillary, back to you.
All right, Denise, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
And now it's time to take a look at our TxDOT traffic cameras looking over on the east side of I-10 and Airway. You can see the traffic is pretty light. The skies are brightening up. No problems to tell you about at this point.
Well, we told you about 4 people arrested for carrying out a type of crime known as jugging.
And now we're hearing from one of their alleged victims.
They broke the window to my car and looked in and opened up the glove compartment and took the remaining cash that I had left in there.
The advice that this man now has for all of us.
Folks, you gotta be ready for it. Mike, it's getting big. I got trees coming down on me and power flashes. I gotta back out of here.
Tornadoes in 4 states leave 13 people injured, dozens of homes destroyed. Flash flood warnings are still in effect for some today.
Back here in the borderland, though, Crystal Clyde standing by. She's going to look at our forecast. It's looking pretty nice.
It is a great forecast ahead of us. If you enjoyed yesterday, you're going to love today's forecast. We'll have the details after your break.
Thanks, Crystal. This is ABC 7, where news comes first.